It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. Bleeding into Thursday morning, it is time for your favorite politically incorrect sports commentary podcast. We've been doing this for over 3 years. We're going to keep doing it until the wheels fall off. My co-pilot, the conquistador Dave Height to my right.
Yep, and to my left, your main announcer, the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Although I always am more than happy to turn the wheel over to Dave at any point in time.
This works. It's like a broadcast.
Power shot.
No,
which thank God
like
I finally figured out what that meant.
Yeah, it's like any sports broadcast. You have the main commentator and the color guy.
Yes, and we are better than anybody else out there. I don't care what you think or what you say. That's why we do it.
I'd still take Jason Benetti.
Can we hold off for a second? We'll get to the White Sox in a second.
And their shit show continues.
But we do, first and foremost, we are going to talk baseball first, but we do have to pay tribute. Now, here's the thing. I think we need to qualify this because Dave and I, even though we're in our 50s, I think what we have to do is have to remember childhood memories. We have to remember how old we are and what we first remember in terms of our earliest memories when it comes to sports. And I'm sorry, I don't remember ever seeing Willie Mays play. It was before my time.
Yep, before mine as well.
Legendary? Now, who could dispute the fact that looking at his stats, looking at everything, he's a legendary player.
Yep. Now, how many times did we see him in whatever broadcast? Johnny Bench's Saturday morning baseball show for kids. He was a fixture on there, popping in.
Yep.
So you knew who he was.
Yes, and just like Babe Ruth, just like Ty Cobb, you accept, for the most part, never completely accept the legend, but for the most part, accept the legend. My earliest memories, of course, are of Hank Aaron hitting his record-setting home run.
Yep.
In the mid-'70s, Pete Rose, the Big Red Machine. Those are my earliest baseball memories. So I never got to see Willie Mays actually play baseball. The over-the-shoulder catch, the legendary catch, say, hey, Willie. Very, very difficult to not acknowledge Willie Mays as one of the 5 greatest players in baseball history.
Easily.
And it's a shame because today is Juneteenth as we tape here on June the 19th. Tomorrow, I believe, is the tribute game. Tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah.
Where they're going to play in Alabama to celebrate the Negro League games with the Giants and the Cardinals. And it's just a shame because they wanted Willie Mays there. And we were told a day ago he's not going to be there. We're never given a reason why. And now we find out probably he was in ill health
issues.
Yes. So, being Mr. Negativity, sorry, that's just who I am. And believe me, tonight you're going to get a lot of it. But it just sucks that Willie Mays won't be around for this celebration.
Yeah.
And we have to put up with the fact that, again, another legend of baseball is leaving us, has left us, and we're stuck with the pitiful crap that we've got.
Yep. Willie is one of those guys who played every day. If there was a doubleheader, he was there for every inning.
Because
for the love of the game.
Willie Mays, like Ernie Banks, Minnie Minoso,
these guys loved to play. It didn't matter.
The money didn't matter. Because they got it. They understood they were playing a game.
They had fun. That's the thing. The guys back in the day had fun. It wasn't as much a business for the players. Yes, the owners and everything, it was the business, but for the players, it was for the love of the game.
And that might sound like a cliche, but back then it was true. And I firmly believe it was true. And I believe that carried through till maybe the mid 80s. And then it all fell apart.
Mid 80s is when everybody started getting greedy and wanting to get paid.
And now you've got what you've got. A bunch of guys who can't hit. Dave, what's our count this week on 300 hitters?
We are holding at 11.
And by the way, ESPN, kiss my ass. I don't know what your problem is. Count Luis Arias as one of the top hitters in the league.
He's got the requisite number of games played.
Just because he was traded
doesn't mean shit.
They've only got 10. We, being fair on Sports Frenzy, count him, so it will be 11.
It's 11 because Yahoo Sports has him listed, MLB has him listed, so there you go.
All right. Once again, thoughts, prayers. We'll take care of our sports moments of silence right now to the great, legendary Willie Mays. Of course, everybody today at every game taking a pause, doing a moment of silence,
and as is justified.
And we shall as well. All right, let's move on to ripping the shit out of people, because that's what we're good at.
Oh, should we start with Mike Trout? Why not? The great Mike Trout. Oh, yeah. I still can't run. My recovery is going much slower than I expected. Yeah, it was slower than expected by everybody, except for us. We fucking told you so that this was not going to be a quick return for him in the projected, what was it, 6 to 8 weeks, or was it 4 to 6? Whatever it was, we knew it was going to go longer because that's who Trout is. Since the start of 2021, he's played 266 games. He has now missed 293 and counting.
All I'm going to say is when he ends up, and they'll put him in the Hall of Fame, which is bullshit. If they put Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame, they'll put Mike Trout in. But if I was there, I'd be booing. I'd be booing.
Yep.
Like, what the hell did you ever do, dude? Yes, you were great when you played, but you never played. You never played.
You have missed more games than you've played. They cannot count on you.
Now, speaking of injuries, let's focus on 3 teams here. 3 teams that we thought were going to be contenders for the World Series title. 2 of them still viable, 1 maybe not. The Dodgers. Now, I'm rooting against the Dodgers. And I don't care if you say, it's a bad sportsmanship move on your part, Maestro. Kiss my ass!
No, it's about financial viability and stability for the game. And they are destroying it.
So the Dodgers, this past week, lose who would have been the presumptive National League MVP, Mookie Betts, broken hand on a pitch. He's out for what, a month and a half at least?
Yeah.
So now Shohei Ohtani moves up. Yeah, the poster child for greatness in baseball.
And betting. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud?
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. We've got a little bit more on that in just a second. And then their big, huge, massive pitching signing, Yoshi Yamamoto, my rotator cuff. Oh, my arm. He goes on the IL. So now let's see how really great, awesome, and good the Dodgers are. Can Freddie Freeman carry this team? because that's right now what you're looking at, him and Ohtani.
Yep, that's what they're going to have because we know they don't have a manager that can carry them through.
So let's move on to the Yankees. The Yankees, of course. New York fans, arrogant beyond all belief, as they always are. Yippee skippy, happy dippy that they beat the Orioles last night. Again, as we tape Wednesday night, the 19th. The main rival for them in the American League. But Anthony Rizzo breaks his arm.
Ouch.
He is out 8 weeks.
Oof.
But they do get some help in the rotation. As today, Garrett Cole is back pitching against said division rival Orioles.
Yep, and they also dodged a bullet. Aaron Judge got hit on the hand. X-rays came back negative, but he is sitting out tonight, the 19th, as we tape.
Great call, Dave. Great call. And then we move on to the Dodgers still in it. Should easily walk away with the NL West crown.
Yeah.
Now, the Yankees will have a dogfight the whole year between them and the Orioles. Boston's starting to make a little move too. So watch out for the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Red Sox have been giving the Yankees fits.
But now we move on to the Astros, a team that you and I both thought was going to once again
make it through. Boy, without Dusty, they are a train wreck.
So they once again lose Justin Verlander back on the IL with a neck injury.
Well, he shouldn't have tried that move with his wife last night.
I would have. Oh my God.
Anyway.
I would have. Oh my God. I would have. The one guy who deserves to have a porn stash. Based on who his wife is. But then we're starting to see teams bail on bad contracts.
Oh,
and this will carry over not only from MLB into other sports. Again, we will get to it later. But former White Sox player.
Yep, slugger first baseman Jose Abreu was outright released by the Astros.
He has
been bad.
And he is still owed because, again, guaranteed contracts suck.
Yep, they are abysmal.
$30.8 million still owed to Jose Abreu.
Yep, for him to sit at home in the air conditioning and do whatever he wants.
I'm telling you, how are you ever supposed to entice people to perform better, to work harder, when you just throw money at them and say, yeah, even if you suck, you're still getting this money?
Yep.
How are they? And I'm not talking just about sports. I'm talking about real life.
Yeah,
we see
anything in general.
We see this with CEOs.
The golden parachutes that they have.
Yeah.
It's crap.
How are you ever supposed to entice people to perform better when you just say, here's a check, here's your golden parachute, and you get it no matter what?
Doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
Idiocy.
Now, of course, I know you love this. You love this. The other night, Ronel Blanco, June the 16th against Detroit, already has a no-hitter this year. Threw a no-hitter on April the 1st. Ronel Blanco, one of the few bright spots for the Astros this year, pulled after 7 hitless innings.
What was his pitch count?
Under 100.
And of
course, the bullpen came in the next inning and blew it. Now, he still won the game. They still won the game.
I am sick of the stats geeks ruining everything.
They approach 100, pull them. Getting to 100, pull them. That's the rule. You know goddamn well. You and I know goddamn
Nobody's
well.
ever
And
gonna
everybody
throw
out
over
there
100
knows that's the
pitches
rule now.
anymore.
No, nobody is throwing over 100 pitches anymore.
Nobody has the arm stamina anymore because they're not trained to have the arm stamina anymore.
I don't understand how Bob Gibson did this. How did any of the great pitchers in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s do this?
Wilbur Wood, the knuckleballer, would throw both games of a doubleheader.
And I am
would throw complete games in a doubleheader.
And I'm starting to pull back on my criticism of guys like Burt Blyleven for being a compiler. Because at least he was dependable. He was out there all the time. You know?
Nobody's throwing over 200
I'm getting to the point where
I
think maybe they should be recognized for this.
Yeah, nobody's throwing 200-plus innings anymore.
It's pathetic. And I think we just talked about Verlander. Verlander, we've talked about him and Scherzer as the last two guys who would even get within a sniff of 300 wins. I think I saw Verlander's at 260.
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
Done.
But that'll put him in the Hall of Fame. Guaranteed Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Based on the era that we're talking about. Oh, and by the way, Ronel Blanco trying to pull off 2 no-hitters in the same year. Only been done 6 previous times. And nope, not going to let you even try it. Not going to even let you try it, buddy. We're pulling you out. Pathetic. Pathetic, pathetic, pathetic. Just like the Chicago Cubs.
You know what's even more pathetic? The Chicago White Sox. Do your rant first.
Well, the Cubs took 2 of 3 from the Giants, and we got another great sign that Kyle Hendricks might actually have something left in the tank. He wins his first game of the year.
Coming out of the bullpen.
No, he started. They brought him back into the rotation.
Whoa.
5 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, I believe 8 Ks.
Damn.
But of course the bullpen tried to screw him, as they always do. Mark Leiter Jr., you kiss my ass. You kiss my ass. He's terrible. This is why I've said we needed better bullpen help. We needed better bullpen pitchers.
And you didn't get them.
No. Given the fact that we've got no offense whatsoever, but good for Kyle Hendricks. I will always root for him. He's my man. Finally gets his first win of the year today. So the Cubs kind of maybe sort of steady themselves at 36-39, 8 games behind Milwaukee. But the big thing is only a few games behind the wild card, because right now in the National League, the wild card is abysmal. You've got two of the 3 teams. Atlanta would be the one wild card who has a winning record. Yeah. Outside of that,
everybody's under 500.
The other 2 are under 500. Whoever you're going to take. And everybody's in play. Everybody's in play. The Mets, the Nationals, the Cubs, the Reds, the Pirates, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, the Padres, all in play for those final 2 wild card spots.
Pretty much everybody except the Marlins and the Rockies.
Yes. So that's the thing, is what if this doesn't sort itself out soon? What is the trade deadline going to look like in the next month and a half?
Oh, that's going to be
before the end of July.
That's going to be mass chaos.
Do you sell? Do you buy? Do you buy? Do you sell? Now the Cubs have injury issues. Mike Tauchman, one of the few guys who is actually dependable, strains his groin. Ow! Ow!
Rub some tussin on it.
He's out for a month. He goes to the IL. And then I hate to do this, I have to agree with them. Yan Gomes was just
abysmal.
he just wasn't cutting it. He wasn't hitting. They had to DFA him. But the thing is, then they decide the solution is going to be signing Tomas Nido, formerly of the Mets, who didn't have any better numbers than Yan Gomes had. So they still have not solved their catcher issues yet. But things are so much better on the south side, Dave.
Are they? Not really. We're still a league worst minus 153 on the run side. And I get this. Last night as we tape, it happened on the 18th. The Sox got their 20th win of the year against the Astros. I'm surprised. They're 20-54. I fully expected them to hit 60 losses before 20 wins. So I guess that's a positive. But other than that, whatever.
I still think you guys have really good, solid
pitching. The starting pitching is the only thing we have going for us.
And I got to tell you something. This is I don't want to rip on the White Sox. I'm not. This is a backhanded compliment. Yahoo, my daily newsletter, I believe on Monday, broke down the leaders with Mookie Betts going out with the broken hand in terms of MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. Garrett Crochet was listed as third for the AL Cy Young.
He had a rough couple of games early on, but he has strapped it down and has been throwing lights out. He is showing why he was drafted where he was. Now, coming off the Tommy John surgery, we'll see what his innings work is actually going to wind up being. But, man, he has got some nasty stuff.
And we talked about Fetty. Some of these young guys they're bringing up are looking good.
We'll see.
I'm telling you, you and I have the same issues with our teams. The starting rotation looks solid. Everything else looks like a steaming pile of buffalo dung. What is the problem?
Yes, it does.
Now, a couple other baseball headlines before we move on. We have another gambling scandal in baseball, but this time it's an umpire.
Oh!
Umpire Pat Hoberg. Now, of course, they're keeping this under wraps. They're not telling anybody what the penalty is or what the specific violation was.
Is he gambling on baseball?
He is appealing, but he did violate, according to Major League Baseball, their gambling rules.
Well, then he must have been betting on baseball.
See, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what the goddamn rules are.
See, I thought you could bet on other sports.
I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I don't know how restrictive it is. I don't know if you're allowed to bet, period.
I know for sure you cannot bet on baseball,
well, of course,
period, at all.
That's a given. But I'm wondering if you can even bet, period.
We will have to look up MLB's betting rules.
I don't know if they're that transparent. And then finally, baseball is backing off on the robotic balls and strikes. AAA, of course, the level right underneath Major League Baseball, has been told that we are not going to use full ABS anymore. Of course, that's automatic balls and strikes.
Why not?
We are going to a challenge system.
Oh, for God's sake, why are you going to make it even longer? You sped the game up with the pitch clock and by limiting the number of throws to first base. The ABS was just fine. The hell with the umpires. The hell with the umpires union. We want things correct.
But
fuck the challenge system in this regard.
MLB swears, Dave, MLB swears that they have surveyed everybody, the fans, the teams.
Bullshit.
And they want the challenge system.
Bullshit.
I'm with you, though. This is going to slow shit down.
This is selective.
It's going to slow things down once again. So you said it perfectly. All the advancements, all the strides forward they made in making the game more compact and shorter, throw them out the fucking window.
Yep, this is. Ugh.
You're going to turn it into the NBA. You're going to turn it into the NBA.
You're going backwards.
So the challenge system from now on in AAA will be implemented for all games as of June the 25th.
This will blow up.
I agree. I completely agree. All right, so let's move on to NASCAR because, my God, all 8 panelists got their picks in early today, so we can actually talk about NASCAR earlier than we normally would. Now we have to recap the first ever Cup race at Iowa Speedway.
I am at a disadvantage because I was at a graduation party and then immediately left for a road trip to go on vacation.
Anniversary.
Yep. So there we go.
Smoochy, smoochy, smoochy. It's all right. I got you covered. So here's the thing with the Iowa race. It wasn't bad. Now, Kyle Larson got the pole. Tire issues were looking very serious in qualifying and practice. A lot of teams, Christopher Bell, for instance, had to go to the backup car because he had wrecked out his primary due to tire issues. So everybody was worried about tire wear. So in that sense, it was a very interesting strategic race. 4 tires, no tires, 2 tires. Now, Ryan Blaney won because of a ballsy 2-tire stop. And they got a long green flag run at the end. And the 2 tires held up. The 2 tires held up.
So because he gained so much time on the track by only taking 2, there you go.
Yep. So Ryan Blaney, defending Cup champion, gets his first win of 2024. He was already in on points, but now locked in. Now, if you watch the race, again, I know Dave didn't, but the Iowa Speedway, the look of the track, very troubling because they only did a partial repave.
Yeah, that I heard about. That to me was a stupid move.
And so now we're getting debating back and forth from the owners, from NASCAR, from the drivers, whether we should have a full repave or it was fine as it was, but it just looked silly.
Yeah, that's kind of a dumb move.
You had big
when
chunks.
You only have one groove, it's kind of dumb.
Well, you had big chunks where you saw black, and then it would go to gray, and then it would go to black, and then gray.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah.
It looked a little junky to me. I will just say that. It looked a little low class. It looked like...
I can attest to that because I did watch a little bit of qualifying on Saturday.
Yeah. And for a sport that is still trying to gain traction...
This looked like your local short track would on a generic repair.
Thank you. Well said. That's exactly what I wanted to go with. This looked very low class, very junky, very cost cutter kind of a move.
Which is not a good look for a NASCAR Cup race.
Now, the racing itself, not terrible. Not terrible. People were saying there wasn't a lot of passing. I will dispute that. There was a decent amount of passing. But the tire wear issue was really the thing that threw everybody off. And so the thing with Iowa, with the partial repave, was that you saw a lot of guys in the Cup race moving and not passing necessarily, but back end moving back and forth, a lot of slipping and sliding. They didn't know what they were doing based on what they got with qualifying and practice. And then it becomes a completely different animal at night. So you got a little bit more tepid and tame racing.
Yeah, nobody
On
knew what
Sunday
the tires
night.
were going to do or what the wear was going to be like or
Right.
how they were going to handle.
You had early issues with tire wear, but again, if Ryan Blaney only has to switch out 2 and can make the full run with old tires on the one side,
then it wasn't an issue.
this is going to be, when they go back next year, I'm sure they'll go back next year.
Yeah, they'll have their
they'll
notes.
Now they'll know 2 tires, you can pull it off.
Be a lot more interesting. All right, but big news coming out. Martin Truex Jr. has said, "This is my final year. I will retire at the end of 2024." So there was speculation. He almost retired at the end of 23. He decided to come back and make one more run. So
yeah, he's been flirting with this for a couple years.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what goes on in the heads of an athlete when they start thinking like this. But you could tell I don't know if his heart's in it. He's still probably going to make the final 16 without an issue.
Yeah. But I don't know what his drive is anymore. So then it's time to hang it up.
Now, let me ask you this. Let's take this and do a little deep dive. We have seen a lot of these guys do similar things over the last, let's say, 6-7 years. We've seen Kevin Harvick, guys who probably, Mark Martin, remember, was competitive into his 50s.
Yeah.
Probably the last guy to pull that off, and probably, are we seeing again, just like with other sports, these guys getting more money? Now, NASCAR guys don't get as much money.
It depends on the driver. Are they drivers or are they racers? Because that's going to make a difference on how long they stay in a car. Look at Richard Petty, how long he stayed in. I'm sure had it not happened at Daytona, Earnhardt would have raced another 5 or 6 years. Of course.
But his son quit early.
Junior quit because of concussion issues. His health trumped his career, and he decided, I'm going to back off and just own a couple of Xfinity teams and do the business side and then go into the booth. Can't blame him for thinking about his health at that point.
No, I know. And I knew.
It's anymore you have to.
No, see, I'm not going there. I'm not going there because you want to pull that with Earnhardt Jr., that's fine. I've never been a big fan of his.
Me neither, but I can
what
understand.
Happened to Carl Edwards?
Who knows? Edwards.
What happened to Matt Kenseth? He could have run a couple more years.
Kenseth could have. Edwards could have. Where's Biffle?
Biffle could have.
Those three, you never heard. Why?
And I'll tell you who the next one's going to be. Keselowski. If for some reason he drops off over the next year, he's doing okay this year. They're more competitive now than they were earlier in the year. But I think these guys are getting to the point where they hit 40 instead of 50 or 45 even.
Yeah.
And they're saying, why would I even risk it? I think it hurts their legacy. I think it hurts their legacy. You're going to be that one-time champion. That's what Martin Truex is right now. That's what Keselowski is right now. Carl Edwards didn't even win one.
Neither did Biffle.
Neither Martin didn't win one.
No.
So,
but Martin still raced as long as he wanted to.
Martin was competitive into his 50s.
Yeah.
Even though he never won. But now, are the days of a Jimmy Johnson or a Jeff Gordon or a Dale Sr. gone? Are we going to have a 4 or 5-time champion ever again?
Probably not.
Because you look at right now who's left out there. You've got, 2-time champions with Logano. That's it. And Busch. Kyle Busch. But Kyle Busch is having an awful year.
He's coming off of a couple of awful years. Well, he had poor years finishing up at Gibbs, a little bit of a resurgence last year with Childress, but he's right back to being
Maybe Kyle Larson.
Potentially.
William
Blaney?
Byron looks good, but he hasn't won anything yet.
No.
Blaney, yeah,
Potentially.
got one. But I'm just concerned that this is going to end up being a mess, a milquetoast mess.
Yeah,
where
you're
everybody
not gonna have
wins
anybody.
a different winner every year. Maybe somebody like Logano wins 2.
Yeah, gone are the back-to-backs.
You don't have a dominant driver, and I think right now NASCAR needs that.
Yeah, you need to have somebody. The closest you've got is Larson, but until he ponies up championships upon championships, you're not going to have anything.
And I will still say, conspiracy theorist that I am, is he really going to get 100% of the attention in the Hendricks garage over Chase Elliott and William Byron?
He's the better driver by far.
I know, and I would put all my chips in his stall, but
and then you've got the 4th Bowman isn't getting shit.
Yeah,
Bowman's a solid driver too, and they're not giving him anything.
Bowman should move on.
He's the 4th tier driver there,
and he would be number 1 in any other garage.
Yes,
any other garage. And by the way, speaking of Truex retiring, you figured this with a big team opening. Chase Briscoe is the big name that's being floated about to take that ride. Wouldn't shock me a bit. Wouldn't shock me a bit if he got that car. And if you care about the 24 hours of Le Mans, Ferrari won, I believe, 2nd year in a row.
I believe so.
So, there you go. Now we move on to race 18. This Sunday, June the 23rd, 2024.
The lamest track on the schedule.
What do you always say, Dave?
Loudon should be nuked off the face of the planet.
See, we need to make T-shirts of all your catchphrases, and that's one of my favorites.
I have felt this way since after the first race ever. Never liked that track.
So we're going up to New Hampshire for the USA Today 301. Oh my God, USA Today?
Oh my God. Do they have enough subscribers to be able to sponsor a race?
Well, this would be like the CNN 301 to me. You have got a die-hard redneck audience in NASCAR. Let's be honest. In USA Today, one of the most liberal rags in the country is going to sponsor the race at Loudon.
God. Which is sad because USA Today used to have one of the best sports sections.
Yes, they did. Yep.
Used to being the operative
And I
words.
think I called them out a couple months ago as a dumbass because I was trying to do a crossword puzzle online, and everything in the crossword puzzle
was wrong.
Was PC bullshit. And so I deleted that link, and it said, I will not play this fucking game where I just want to do a simple crossword and you've got to shove a political agenda down my throat.
We don't want woke crosswords. We don't want woke shit, period. End of conversation.
So, our picks for Loudon this coming Sunday.
Bum, bum, bum.
We've got 2, 2, 2, and then 2 people on an island. So I'll start off with me and Bill. Believe the top 2 in our point standings right now. Bill and I believe that the retirement talk will wear down now. And now it's back to business for one. Martin Truex Jr. Get back to business at one of your best tracks, Marty. Martin Truex Jr. for Bill and I.
There you go. Aaron and I are going with Joey Logano, who has a history of running very well at Loudon.
And he needs a win.
He needs a win badly. If there was a week for him to come through, this has got to be it.
And then, of course, somebody we talked about here a few moments ago who's running very well. Good track for him. The elder statesman, Sam, and the juggler, Nick, taking Brad Keselowski.
Yep, got me a solid top 10 finish at Iowa. Now we've got our solo jaunts. Mrs. C is taking Ryan Blaney, hoping to go back-to-back. It doesn't happen anymore.
I can't do the back-to-back.
Not anymore. Nobody has that dominance to be able to do it.
No.
And then Doug going with last week's pole sitter, Kyle Larson.
Well, Kyle Larson, you could pick any week.
You could. He's a favorite everywhere.
But you've only got 3 times where you can pick him. So
there you go.
I know Dave and I already have our next Kyle Larson pick slotted in.
Yep.
Coming about a month and a half from now, I believe right after the Olympic break.
Yep. Could be somewhere in the Irish Hills.
All right, let's move on to football. A little bit of football talk. One big topic, which it always happens with us. The day after we record a podcast, or within the 2 days after we're done recording on a Wednesday night, the big news hits.
It never fails.
And I swore to Dave I was going to leave him alone. I knew he had a lot going on, anniversary, rummage sale stuff. But when I saw that Trevor Lawrence
my God,
a 5-year, $275 million deal, I had to text him because I knew he would go apoplectic.
That was fucking stupid.
He now is making as much as Joe Burrow per year, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Neither of whom have done anything yet.
Well, Burrow got to a Super Bowl at least.
Well, at least he got to the Super Bowl, yes. Lawrence has taken steps backwards since Doug Peterson got there. I mean, seriously, that is stupid to give him that kind of money.
They must feel. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Maybe he's a great clubhouse guy. Maybe he...
Yeah, but still, you don't pay him $50 million a year.
55.
Yeah.
55. Here's something else I'm still trying to figure out, by the way. Initial reports said that he got $200 million guaranteed. But 142 fully guaranteed. So I had to dig into this a little bit and do some research.
Signing bonus?
Now I'm starting to see how they can manipulate the money with this guaranteed stuff. Some of this is roster bonuses. So they're assuming he will be on the roster for all of those years. That's a fully guaranteed contract. But if he's not, then that guaranteed money does go down.
Still don't like it.
No, I agree. I am 100%
Still do not like it at all.
Wow. And this...
Come
I thought
on.
The Giants were stupid for giving Daniel Jones $40 million a year.
Yeah,
but at least they can get out after this year. It was a shorter term deal.
Yeah, I don't know what they are thinking.
And what did I text you?
This is why the Bears did not want to hang on to Justin Fields.
They did not want to have to make this decision.
No, because there was no development there. Now we reset the clock.
Yep.
And we've got a few more years to see if Caleb Williams is the answer.
Right. We got 3 years where we don't have to pay 55. And you know what's coming down the road as we move on to talking about Kansas City.
Oh.
You know they're going to rework Mahomes' deal.
To keep him the highest paid quarterback.
He's got to be sitting there. And I don't blame him to a point. I don't blame him.
But come on. You cannot take a huge percentage of the salary cap money for one damn position.
Well, Tom Brady never did. Tom
No.
Brady never did. Mahomes, I would hope, outside of the
smart
fact
enough.
that the rest of his family is a bunch of fucktards, he's smart enough where he will in theory want them to make it look like he's getting paid $60 million a year, but he'll spread it out.
He needs to
So
have
the
a
team
team
can
behind
still
him.
the team can still spend money on other
He
players.
needs weapons to throw to. He needs an offensive line to protect him, and he needs a defense to keep the other team at bay.
But Dave, but will the Chiefs and the Royals?
Will they move across state lines?
They'll still be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Kansas City Royals, but
They will be in Kansas, not Missouri. That is the hope of Kansas lawmakers who passed a bill to make overtures to both teams.
it is sitting on the governor's desk as we speak, waiting to be signed. Approval for state bonds that would allow financing for 2 stadiums to bring the Royals and the Chiefs over the river, over state lines, from Missouri into Kansas. I've never seen anything like this before. Never. Within the same city, arguing, fighting, governments clashing.
You know, if they wanted, the smart thing to do would be one team on one side, one team on the other. Let each state pony up for one stadium or the other. Why hold everybody hostage for both?
Because what they're going to say is it's more cost efficient. And you know this.
Oh, bullshit
They're going to say it's more, just like it is right now on the Missouri side. They have got Kauffman Stadium and Arrowhead right next to each other. Shared facilities, shared parking.
Whatever.
It's less cost effective to split them up. We see this in all the cities. They put these stadiums.
Unless you're in Chicago.
Well,
where everything's spread out to hell and back.
There are a bunch of idiots in Chicago. We all know that. United Center is often bumfuck. Wrigley's in bumfuck. West, I mean, it's all
a cluster.
But most sane cities try to group all of them together so they can share parking and facilities.
Cleveland's not close for any of them.
Well, Cleveland, they have the Cavs. The Cavs arena right next to Progressive Field.
You got
now
that.
the Brown Stadium is a little bit farther away.
Yeah.
But they at least have the baseball and basketball stadiums together.
Detroit, they pretty much got all 3 hockey, basketball, or the big 4. All 3 venues are pretty damn close. They
out
have
in the
to
suburbs. All right, so we'll see what happens with this. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking more about the Chiefs at the end of the show. The Atlanta Falcons lost a 2025 fifth-round pick and were fined $250,000.
Tampering.
And their GM was nailed for $50K. On top of that, this is the whole Kirk Cousins thing.
Yeah. Whatever.
That's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, they don't care.
I don't think they care either. I don't think they care at all. Now, interesting to see how this will play out. Rarely do we see this in this day and age. Usually agents tell players, hold out until you get a deal. But T. Higgins, wide receiver with the Bengals, signed his franchise tender for $21.8 million. Now, of course, I would sign for $21.8 million in a hot second.
Why not?
With Tyler Boyd gone, you got to figure
they've got
the
to
problem
pony up.
Is the timing is bad because they also have to pay Jamar Chase. And so they're going to have to find a lot of money. in order to pay Jamar Chase and
And
T.
T.
Higgins on top of what they just signed extension-wise Joe Burrow for.
Again, you can't wrap up such huge percentages on a couple of players to the detriment of everything.
It is a gamble. It is a risk.
Yep.
Man, I'm about sick of this Hard Knocks crap. I'm about sick of it. Now we got 3 different versions of Hard Knocks. Wasn't there just one Hard Knocks a few years ago?
Yeah, now you have to have, what was it?
Preseason,
early training camp, and during the season. Seriously, come on. This is ridiculous.
And so now the in-season Hard Knocks will not only focus on one team, but 4 teams.
Oh, come on. No, this is over the top stupid.
In-season Hard Knocks this year will feature the entire AFC North, Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, and Browns.
Nobody, oh my God. Hard Knocks isn't that interesting to watch.
I know, I'm with you. I've never watched a single episode.
I tried it. I didn't care.
I don't even know if I'm going to watch the Bears this year.
You're not going to learn anything.
Do I really want to see this?
The teams get final say over what's shown. You're not getting anything.
All right, moving on to college football. Big topics. We fucking told you so. I'll put it out there right now. The Big 12 and Conference USA are now looking at selling naming rights for their conferences. The Big 12 almost a done deal that they will not be the Big 12 anymore, kids. They will be the All-State 12.
Oh, come on!
I'm done with this shit. I'm done with this. Literally, you're going to change a conference to have
you
a company.
Are falling off the cliff right now.
You're losing all integrity. All integrity. The All-State 12.
You couldn't even say the All-State Big 12 or the Big 12 sponsored by All-State. Why are you giving everything up? Idiots and morons and green.
We have to pay our players now.
Yeah, you made your bed. Now you have to lay in it, you greedy fucks.
Stupid greedy fucks. And now Les Miles suing LSU, the NCAA, and the group that oversees the College Football Hall of Fame because they vacated 37 wins because of one player, indiscretions involving recruiting one player. Les Miles, his winning percentage now drops from 665 to 597.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have had recruiting violations.
Dropping him below the threshold, which is you have to have a 600 winning percentage in 100 games minimum to qualify for the Hall of Fame.
Boo freaking who. Maybe you should have played by the rules that were in play at the time, dumbass.
Yeah, I am not going to shed a tear for Les Miles.
No.
I'm really not.
Nope.
I will say that one indiscretion with one player instead of a program-wide issue seems a
little harsher.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Never should have had it happen in the first place.
Yep.
And then, of course, we're not doing moments of silence. We already took care of Willie Mays. But here locally, thoughts and prayers to Notre Dame, former athletic director and big-time hoops player back in the day. I think back to the 50s. We'd have to go for Dick Rosenthal. Just passed away. Can I knock out my badasses now before we move on to golf and basketball?
Sure.
What's the rule, Dave? What's the rule for dating? For guys our age, what's
Half
the rule?
plus 7. Half your age plus 7 years.
Somebody needs to refresh Bill Belichick's interpretation of the rules, because we have found out that 72-year-old Bill Belichick is currently dating a 24-year-old former cheerleader that he met years ago on a plane. And they had a discussion about logic. Because Belichick, actually, get him away from the. I just think he doesn't feel.
Half plus 7 for him should be 43.
No, 24-year-old Dave. He's dating a
For
24.
the love. He's dating his granddaughter. He's dating somebody who could be his granddaughter.
Yeah, potentially.
Oh, for the love of God.
And he's my badass of the week. My number one badass. Come on.
That's impressive.
It's Bill Belichick. And again, get him away from the microphones. I just don't think he wants to talk to the media. We don't know if he'll ever coach again.
Probably
but the thing
not.
is, coaches talking to the media is just such a pathetic exercise.
Yeah. Why do we care?
Yeah.
They're not giving anything up.
No. They're spouting these little generic inanities that nobody cares about.
And they're going to do what they can to tweak the media.
Now, I will actually give a shout out to soccer for my other Clint Eastwood badass of the week. Denmark's Christian Eriksen scored a goal here recently at Euro 2024, one of these countless tournaments around the world. But in this case, got to give this guy credit. Christian Eriksen scores a goal. The last time they had Euro 2020, which was actually because of COVID in 2021, he had cardiac arrest on the pitch.
Wow. So he has come back from a major health issue, able to play his game, made a major contribution. Good for him.
Yep. Congrats to Christian Eriksen. Badass of the week, number 2 for me. Dave, do we care about the UFL?
No. Who won anyway?
The Birmingham Stallions won again.
All right.
Their
good
third straight title between the USFL and the UFL.
All right. Now, if they win one more, does that guarantee them an NFL team?
I would love that. Relegate somebody. Come somebody. On. Wouldn't that be awesome? Not? I love that. I love that idea.
I thought you would.
Relegate the worst team in 2024 from the NFL to the UFL and move the Birmingham Stallions up. Hell yeah.
There you go.
Who would it be? Who do you think it would be? Who's going to be the worst? Panthers?
Panthers
again?
Panthers are in the running.
Move the Carolina Panthers
down to Birmingham.
I don't think anybody would shed a single fucking tear.
No, if Carolina disappeared from the NFL, Tepper, nobody would care.
That prick, their owner, Tepper. Yeah, bye-bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. But they beat the San Antonio Brahmas, which in a way is sad, because that was Wade Phillips trying to get his first ever title in any way, shape, or form in football. But he got shellacked as the Stallions won 25-0.
Ouch.
All right, and then we have also got big news in terms of television and media.
Yep, as we discuss this on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
Otherwise, of course, known as iHeartRadio. Do not forget to check out the Facebook page each and every week for our baseball picks, our NASCAR picks, and of course, when we get to the fall are football picks.
All
College.
500 a week.
Depends on how angry I am.
That's right. Don't forget the weekend edition, where we are your politically incorrect pop culture discussions going on. Music, movies, TV, streaming, and books.
That is correct. This week we will have our review of the first 3 episodes. Well, kind of, sort of.
At least the first
Boys.
2 episodes of The Boys.
Of The Boys on Amazon. And Monkey Man.
Yes, we have Monkey Man.
On Peacock.
And I have 2 book reviews for you.
I knew he would catch up sooner or later. He would abandon the video games and get back to what he loves the most. Books, books, books. All right. One of the few commentators on television that I actually respect, love, and admire, of course, is quitting. So why not? Why don't we find the next Tony Romo? That's what we need.
No, we don't.
But because of the ridiculous, stupid negotiations going on in the NBA, Charles Barkley doesn't know what the future is going to be with the TNT TBS booth. So he says, all right, next year is our last year with this contract. I'm done. I'm out. Charles Barkley retiring from TV after the 24-25
Say it ain't so, Chuck!
I love Chuck. I love Charles Barkley so much. One of the few guys who will actually say it like it is.
He
won't
doesn't
hold back.
And doesn't take himself seriously.
No, him and Shaq together.
Oh my God, those 2 are great.
Yep.
Great to listen to.
Yep, it's a shame. It's stupid. If the NBA, which of course they don't care about being smart, if they were smart, they would make this work and take less money. Because if you haven't checked, kids, by the way, as we move on to the NBA, the finals were a disaster in terms of advertising, lost, competition, terrible. And we can go back to the conference finals, which we talked about over the last couple weeks.
Because we knew Boston was going to blow everybody out. Surprised that the Mavericks got 1 win in the series.
And we got to see Luka Doncic whine and cry and bitch and piss and moan.
And become the little poster child for being a baby that he actually turns out to be.
And meanwhile, the Celtics, as Dave just alluded to, took care of business, played as a team. Kristaps Porzingis came back for Game 5 with his bizarre, weird leg injury, still contributed quality minutes.
Yeah, the Celtics put a full team together. Not 1 or 2 superstars and a bunch of whoever's, but they have a solid team and a pretty deep bench.
And that lineup is signed all the way through next year, and the stars, the core, I believe, signed beyond that.
Yes.
This was the 18th championship for the Boston Celtics, the record in the NBA now.
Yep.
MVP Jaylen Brown. But it was a team effort. Jaylen Brown's numbers didn't jump out compared to Tatum's.
No. They did everything they needed to do working together. If somebody was having an off night, somebody else stepped up.
And do you notice the little tweaks they made, the little changes they made? You know, Ime Udoka, decides to screw around with a woman in the front office. Boom, he's out.
Gone.
Bring in a new guy. Within 2 years, he wins a title.
So there you go.
And
things are looking pretty good.
Let's give some kudos to Brad Stevens.
Yes, running that office.
Coming from Butler, then jumping into the NBA, doing a good job of running the team. Couldn't get him over the hump as a coach.
No, but being a GM, pulling the moves together, stellar.
Followed in the footsteps of Danny Ainge.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be the star player, but you understand the game. Doesn't have to be the best coach, but you understand the game. So kudos to the Boston Celtics. Very happy that they deserved it. From the beginning, from the first tip in the first game,
they were the best team all season.
Yep. Now we'll see what adjustments are made by all the other teams to play catch up.
Yeah.
We have our first couple shots fired. One, I think, is a positive. One, I think, is a disaster. The positive for the Pacers. Pacers lock in.
Holy cow.
I love Pascal Siakam. Pascal
Siakam.
Siakam gets 4 years, $189.5 million.
He gets the Supermax deal. Well deserved for this All-Star.
I think he and Halliburton now, we talked just a second ago about how the Celtics, their core is locked in. Now these two are locked in with the Pacers. And Caitlin Clark is basically paying their salary. Just kidding. Just kidding. But it's kind of funny to think about it. She's subsidizing all these guys. No, but Siakam, Halliburton. Now, I would like to see more effort next year from Halliburton.
Halliburton needs to step up in the playoffs when it matters.
He had one great game.
And then he disappeared.
Now, the game he played great in was a crucial game. But otherwise, I was not impressed with him.
No.
But I've always liked Siakam, of course, coming from Toronto. Championship pedigree there.
Gives them that little bit that they need. I like what the
Pacers are doing. They've got the coach with Rick Carlisle. Yes. They've got 2 stars. Just a little bit of a tweak on the bench.
And they're going to be pretty competitive.
Yep. Now, that's the positive. I think that's the good move. The bad move.
What the hell is the Pistons thinking? My God, you signed Monty Williams to a monster deal to coach, and you let him go after 1 year. Seriously. That team, there was nothing there with that team. You have got to give him a couple of years to put his system in place and to get the guys in that will play in that system. There's nothing on that team. It's
You got one good player, Cade Cunningham. You got one good player, and that's it. And to give him 1 year, and this is what I'm worried about going back to baseball with the Cubs. I'm hearing panic about Craig Counsell. You gotta give him time.
You gotta give him, a bullpen to work with.
But how do you fire, going back to the NBA, how do you fire Monty Williams when he didn't have a chance to put any kind of a stamp or an imprint on this team?
And they still owe him $65 million to go home.
To sit at home.
And this is the kind of stupid fucking money that we're talking about, be it a player or coaches or whatever.
Yeah, and now who's going to pay for it? Season ticket prices go up. Concessions in Detroit go up.
And you're not going to sign any solid players because you have to save the money somewhere.
Technically it doesn't count against a salary cap, but
still.
The bookkeepers are going to be pulling out their hair going,
where the hell is this coming from? It's so dumb.
And meanwhile, Jeff Van Gundy decides he'll be the top head coaching assistant for Ty Lue with the Clippers. How is Jeff Van Gundy not getting a head coaching job?
No kidding. Come on. Maybe he doesn't want a head coaching job.
Is this one of those things where he's trying to think ahead?
And he's thinking, I'm going to be the head coach in waiting? Maybe.
But wouldn't that worry me if I were Ty Lue? Of course, formerly Tyronn Lue, but now he's sophisticated, so now he's Ty Lue. But wouldn't that... You'd be looking over your shoulder.
Was it his call to bring him in, or was it the front office?
I did not hear that. I think this is a front office move. And that's what would worry me.
Yeah.
Is that he's going to be sitting there waiting to take the team over.
No control over his coaching staff. That's the warning.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Not a good look at all.
No, and I can't believe over all these years, I know he liked doing TV, given the trash that we're looking at in a lot of these cities with head coaches in the NBA, Jeff Van Gundy couldn't get another job over the last 15, 20 years.
No kidding. Come on.
All right, even though the NBA Finals sucked, we might actually have some competition in the NHL.
Yes, the Oilers winning 2 games in a row, coming back, making it 3-2, dragging the Panthers back to Alberta. Oh, this could be fun.
We might go 7 here.
It's possible. I mean, this would be a
see
first.
A historic
Finals comeback? We'll have 3-0? To see. We will have to see.
Edmonton has played very well the last 2 games.
They have.
So we will see what happens there. Oh, by the way, borderline dumbass move in hockey. Not officially, but remember we talked about the Utah team and how they pulled them from Arizona.
And Phoenix. They were going to be the Utah Hockey Club.
No, that's now official. For a year.
Dumb beyond all belief. You have plenty of time to get a team name in play.
Yeah.
You were lazy.
Yeah,
They
have established the team colors, which I love, by the way. I'm not going to get into it's blue, white, and black. They've got different, it's Powder Mountain Blue or,
whatever.
Charcoal black. Just shut up. It's blue, white, and black. I do like the color scheme. But for them, here's my problem. You put the name out there. You say you got 6 finalists. And you're going to let the fans vote for the name. But then you say, one of the 6, we're going to go ahead and make that the team name for this year only. Isn't that biased? Isn't that prejudice?
Absolutely pathetic. That takes... Why are the fans even going to give a shit? Why would they care? You just ruined your fan base and diminished them right at the outset.
Because you say, well, even though Utah Hockey Club was one of the options, we're going to go ahead with that for this year. And but your vote still counts.
No. The decision's been made.
And you're going to go with the fucking hockey name. God, I hate that. I hate it when the Redskins did it. Yeah, I'll say it. The Redskins did it. Thank God. And they go to
the Commanders.
Oh, my God, the Commanders.
Well, it's better than the Washington Football Club.
Might be as bad. Might be as bad, if not worse, than Washington Football Club. Why do we have to kiss soccer's ass? Why? Nobody in America likes it. You have to dig around and find a little tiny hole-in-the-wall bar where a bunch of idiots are sitting around going, Manchester United, Manchester United. Nobody cares about soccer. You've been doing this to us for 40 fucking years. Nobody cares about soccer in the U.S.
It's not catching on
the
like
only
you wanted
people
it
that care
to.
are the illegal immigrants that Joe Biden's letting into the country. That's the only people that care. True blue Americans want regular football, our football. Then, of course, Dave and I like NASCAR.
True red-blooded sport.
Beyond that, I'm not pushing NBA. I'm not pushing baseball anymore. I'm not pimping them. Ugh, rant over. Okay. I do want to make, it's not a correction, but this is an indictment of our justice system. And this is something Dave and I have talked about in the past. We talked about this years ago with the Duke rape trial.
That wasn't.
Now, we gave a hard time last year to Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon Jr., star player for the Illini basketball for Illinois.
Yep.
As he was accused and arrested for sexual assault in Kansas. Well, guess what? He was found not guilty. So now
why? Because he was misidentified.
Now he is allowed to go ahead through the entire pre-draft process, get ready for the NBA draft, but this bothers me. This kind of stuff bothers me like you would not believe.
Because somebody who looked similar to him is the one who committed the crime.
Or somebody tries to blackmail somebody for money. Somebody tries to rake them over the coals for a vendetta. The justice system in America needs to be very careful and realize that all men, black or white, are not automatically criminals when it comes to a situation involving a woman and sex. I'm just saying, be very careful where you tread, because we have seen this
time and again.
We've seen it now.
The court of public opinion. We always try to say, let everything play out. Sometimes things are caught on camera and are so egregious that why do we have to bother? But some of these things you really have to let play out and all the evidence come through.
Well, that's the thing. When we look at all these different scenarios, all these different situations where somebody's accused of sexual assault, rape, really heinous stuff, shootings. If there are not clear-cut, viable witnesses involved, you have got to let the justice system play out. And the media is the first group that will throw somebody under the bus, destroy their image, tarnish their image. That needs to stop.
Yep.
Hey, you'd be proud of me. I did not watch any WNBA this week. So I'm not even going to talk about the fact that Angel Reese, once again, had a flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark. I didn't see it. I didn't watch it. I told you I would eventually pull back, didn't I?
You did.
So, just pointing it out. We still got racial tension in the WNBA.
Oh, whatever.
But the Indiana Fever are actually playing better now. Now we move on to the U.S. Open. Yeah!
Oh, gee. I think somebody missed the cut again.
Oh, wait till we get to the end. I have got something that is going to piss you off beyond all fucking belief.
I'm sure it will.
But yes, somebody did miss the cut again.
Tiger.
And then we had somebody else, his best buddy, who happened to choke.
Had a chance on the final
One of
day.
the biggest chokes of all time. I literally was sitting there watching this. I was walking away from the TV. And then I had to, what? He missed the putt? What? I come back and I go, he's now one shot ahead. What, he was 2 shots ahead? And then he chokes again. I'm like, what? And I keep walking away. Every time I walk away, Rory misses a 3-4 foot putt. I'm like, are you kidding me? The gods are shining on me. They're trying to make my Sunday so much better. And Bryson DeChambeau, he's trying to lose it. He is trying.
He's trying to give it away.
He did. Every tee shot, he's just trying to obliterate the golf ball. That's who he is, and I get that.
He gets to the point where he's getting frustrated, and he takes it out on the ball, and it doesn't work out.
He's trying to literally pound the golf ball into dust. Every tee shot. And they're going left, and they're going right. And
he got out of his game. He got out of his game.
And there is no rough. It's wiregrass at this course. Yeah. And so he sticks himself with Rory throwing up all over himself on the 18th green. DeChambeau has got his second shot on the 18th is miserable. He can't pull the club all the way back because he's got a tree limb. And then he's got a tree root. So he's forced to shoot more to his right than he wants to, which puts him in the sand. And he's got to go up and down to win. Otherwise, they go to a playoff.
Yeah.
And he hits the sand shot of his career. A gorgeous, absolute, brilliant sand shot. Puts him right under the hole. 4-foot putt, which Rory can't hit. But because Rory was going downhill is what they're saying, and Bryson was going uphill, Bryson had the easier putt. He hits it, and the man who we hated just a few short years ago with his feud with Brooks Koepka, we now love. Love my Bryson DeChambeau. Love the guy.
Because he denied Rory McIlroy again.
And then, of course, we got to hear Rory was going through a lot of personal trauma.
Oh, bullshit. If the trauma was affecting him, it would have been in the first couple of days, not at the end.
So congratulations to Bryson DeChambeau. Handled it with class. Tribute to Payne Stewart.
Gotta love
the
that.
Fans. He's trying to do everything he could for the fans. He handled everything the right way. He has done a complete 180 from the asshole that he was a couple years ago, where he was playing slow and pissing off Brooks Koepka, and now he is, despite the fact he plays for Live Golf, he's the man. He is your number one player in the world right now after winning his second major and his second U.S. Open. All right, everybody, we have already covered our moments of silence, of course, with the great Willie Mays and Dick Rosenthal here locally with Notre Dame. So, Dave, what do we do now?
It's time to pivot to find out which of our contestants will be our Red Foreman Dumbass of the Week.
And we are just a few short weeks away
from the return of That 90s Show.
Featuring our hero, Red Foreman. Would you like to take a trip up someone's ass?
Why, yes. Yes, I would. The way these people are screwing up their lives, death would be a sweet release.
All right, we have 5 contestants this week, and I have already told Dave off mic, there's not a bad one in the house.
Truly deserving.
Some weeks I'm kind of little weak on this one, little weak on that one. Not this week. Not this week. I told him golf. A lot of golf. Actually, 3 golf.
Whoa.
Out of the 5. So let's take care of the other 2. This one, it's an easy dumbass.
It's a softball.
Yes, I'm going to give you a softball here, Dave. Of course, again, you should never call the Women's Softball Championship the World Series because it's not baseball.
Exactly.
Back on June the 11th, one dumbass named William Hendon decided to, in Cincinnati, as a Reds fan, jump on the field and do a backflip in front of a security guard.
Idiot.
And of course, there are awesome, priceless pictures out there of his reaction as he is tased. But then the part that I really think, I mean, that's in and of itself qualifies him as a dumbass.
You don't go on the field, period. End of conversation.
But the fact that he went to court and pled not guilty.
That's ridiculous.
There are cameras all over the place that show what you did, you idiot. How can you plead not guilty?
You fucktard moron.
This is where you would say, I throw myself on the mercy of the court and realize that what I did was stupid and I was drunk.
I admit I'm a dumbass. I drunkenly went on the field, and I fully believe that being tased and embarrassed in front of everybody is punishment enough.
But how do you say you're not guilty? How? How?
This is the stupid legal system we have.
You are right. You are right. So we move on to football. Remember, Dave, we were talking about Jason Kelce? And we talked about how
he lost his ring in the chili pools. Yeah.
I'm getting a little tired. I am getting a little tired of the Kelces. I'm getting a little tired.
Oh, finally?
Of the Kelces.
I've been tired of them for about a year and a half.
Well, now Travis. Again, I can't. Anybody that's sleeping with Taylor Swift, I guess I can't rip completely and totally. But Taylor, this is what you get.
You are now dealing with Travis's media people, I believe, trying to do something to keep his brand up.
Well, I don't know if you heard, and this ties into your team, the Dolphins, your secondary team.
The idiots that they've been for the last couple decades?
Well, no, not necessarily. It's not their fault. But these rings, these Super Bowl rings, are getting more and more complex.
The ostentatious crap that they're putting into
all the little detail they're putting in. And you and I are always calling out these idiots who don't proofread, who don't do their research,
right,
who put the wrong things, whether it's a book, a website,
a statue.
There you go. Kobe Bryant statue. Could be the most egregious example we've seen. Well, they screwed up the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rings. In that they had the Dolphins, they put all the teams that made the playoffs this past year in the AFC on this ring. Okay? All the teams.
Why?
Because, again, it goes too far. They put too much detail into this stuff.
It's stupid.
Well, they put the Dolphins in as the wrong seed.
Of course they did.
Now, of course, Travis Kelce goes, who cares? The Dolphins' mistake on the Super Bowl ring makes it more unique and exclusive. And I say, you fucktard, you're just trying to make a bad situation better.
It's
horrible. A flawed ring.
It's screwed up. Why did they have to put the seeds in there to begin with?
This is what I'm saying.
Why did you have to have the other teams in there at all? That's pointless.
Yeah, and he says
it's absolutely
it's no big
pointless
deal that they screwed up the Dolphins and where they were seated. You're an idiot. Your fucking brother lost his ring in a pool of chili, and now you go, my flawed ring, it makes it more valuable and more exclusive and more unique.
No, you're an idiot.
I can't stand the Kelces. I will not draft him in our fantasy football draft. Right now, after he screwed me last year, I will not draft him.
2 years in a row, he has not done well fantasy-wise.
I'm done with it. And, God, it's not fair that he's sleeping with Taylor Swift. How is that fair? He's an idiot. I thought she was smarter. Literally thought she was a very smart person. And her dating him brings that into question. I did. I literally thought she was very savvy, very media savvy, very smart. And the fact that she's banging this fucktard, I don't know.
She can manipulate and control everything.
As long as she doesn't come out with a presidential, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden.
And so should you.
Oh, Lord help us all. Lord help us all. All right. Now the final three are all golf. Now, this is one that I've called out in the past, and I don't know who it is. There's some idiot in the gallery.
Is this Mr. Baba Booey?
That guy. Remember, I called?
Yeah.
Max Homa, remember that?
Yeah.
And he yelled out homosexual?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same guy. But I'm done with this shit.
Shut up on the tee box.
Daniel Berger, who actually played fairly well at the U.S. Open, tied for 21st, +5. I was watching, I believe it was Sunday morning. Early coverage. And I'm watching, and this fucktard idiot in the gallery, gotta be the same guy,
Probably is.
yells out, cheeseburger in paradise.
Oh my God.
And I literally am thinking,
idiot.
where's the firing squad? Can we just take him and shoot him out in the parking lot and be done with it?
This guy should not be allowed as a fan on any golf course anywhere ever again.
What happened to decorum and etiquette and politeness on a golf course? I get the Phoenix, the Waste Management Open, it's a party. I get it. But come on, this is a major here.
Yeah,
this is one of the four biggest tournaments in the world.
There's no excuse for this.
And now we got to put, I guarantee it's the same guy. It's got to be the same guy who yelled out homosexual. Oh! All right, this is easy. But I gotta do it. Rory McIlroy. Not only for two things. Not only was he 496 out of 496 putting in 2024 inside of 3 feet until number 16 on Sunday. Until the 16th hole on Sunday. Had not missed a putt in 2024 inside of 3 feet. But then this bullshit he pulls, where he runs and scurries away the minute Bryson DeChambeau puts his putt in and wins. Rory runs away, and then he says,
even congratulate.
I need some time off. So now Rory's got to have time off.
You little puss bag.
I don't understand how anybody who roots for golf, who wants the PGA to succeed. The Travelers, a pretty big tournament this weekend.
Yeah.
Rory says, no, I'm bailing. I can't do it. I need time off. I need some personal space, and I need to get my head together.
Didn't he just do that a little while ago?
The best thing you can do
is get back
out there and do it again and prove everybody wrong, but not little rat face Rory. Oh, that's another thing, by the way. That's another thing.
Is this going to impact his rankings?
It did last year. Remember, he pulled this shit last year, and we talked about it. And it cost him tons of money.
Yep.
Because with the new PGA rules, you have to play a certain number
of tournaments to qualify for the PGA Cup.
Yes. But on top of that, you won't believe the shit I read this weekend. Because, of course, we were last weekend making fun of Rory and how he looks like a little rat. And we can't understand how, any woman would find him attractive outside of what he's got in his bank account. Rat-faced men are the new hot guys. Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, yeah.
Rory McIlroy. Chicks dig rat-faced guys right now. Can you believe that? A little Weasley, rat-looking guy.
Whatever.
All right, now we get to the piece de resistance, the final contender for the dumbass of the week. And this is the one that Dave's been waiting for. This is the one that I said was going to piss him off. And yes, it is still golf. The PGA today, June the 19th. Of course, this episode drops early, Thursday morning, June the 20th, has issued a special sponsor exemption for all 8 top PGA Tour events for Tiger Woods.
Oh, fucking bullshit!
Because, quote, he is in his own category, unquote, and he has exhibited, quote, exceptional lifetime achievement, unquote. You want to know the kicker here, buddy?
Does this give him an exception to make the cut every week?
Yes!
Now? No! Fuck no!
Yes.
No!
For the top 8 events.
Oh, fuck this bullshit!
Yes.
No!
And you want to know what the reason for this is?
No!
Do you want to know what the reason for this is?
Ratings?
This will piss you off even more. Of course it's ratings, but this will piss you off even more. The reason why he is getting a special sponsor exemption for the top 8 events is because he's not able to play enough golf after his 2021 car accident.
That's his own fucking fault for being a fucking addict to whatever the hell he was doing. No. Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, and that doesn't even count the Masters or the U.S. Open. We're talking about like this weekend, the Travelers.
So he just automatically advances to the final weekend.
Yes. Yeah, because right now they are, I guess, out of the 8 tournaments, half of them, roughly half.
So does he even have to play the first 2 days?
I don't know. Here's my question. If we're going to go with this, why doesn't Jack Nicklaus get an exemption?
Yeah, no shit. Where's his?
Where's Jack Nicklaus' exemption? Let him play every fucking tournament.
Where's this been throughout the history of the game? I hate these fucking Tiger rules. It's bullshit.
Yeah, so he gets to...
The PGA is the fucking dumbass of the century for this move.
And let me ask you this. If I was playing on the PGA Tour and I heard this bullshit...
I'm out, Jerry.
And if I wasn't one of Tiger Woods' butt buddies like Justin Thomas or Rory McIlroy, I would be calling Live Golf tomorrow and say, give me $100 million, I'm coming to play tomorrow.
Make me an offer.
Because if they're going to pull this bullshit for this one fucktard, then I want to go take the Saudis' money and be done with this. Because there's no integrity with the PGA.
That is absolutely destroying the game.
Do we even have to discuss who the See? This is
of the century.
Easily of the year. Easily of the year.
Easily. Ugh.
And the fact that when are people like Scott Van Pelt and these idiots, Jim Nantz in golf, going to call this shit out and say enough is enough?
Stop slurping Tiger. He's no good anymore. He's washed up.
But no, we've got to make sure that we get TV. You are so desperate because you've lost so many. And now Bryson DeChambeau from Live Golf winning the U.S. Open must really have fucking put your garters in a twist. Because immediately after DeChambeau wins,
you got to give this stupid-ass exemption. Ugh. Tiger is not good anymore.
And he did it to himself. And the fact that the PGA specifically notes in this exemption that it's because he can't play as many competitive rounds because of his 2021 car accident where he did it to himself. He did it to himself, people. This wasn't a tragic accident. He was coked up and high, and he did it to himself, and now he gets a fucking exemption. Where's Jack Nicklaus in his exemption?
Why the hell did
Tom Watson? Where's his
never
exemption?
get an exemption?
But no, Tiger fucking Woods gets whatever, and he's going to get his popularity bonus at the end of the year, too.
Oh,
Don't
fuck
forget
that shit.
Because that new little thing that they're giving all these golfers we talked about,
Ugh.
he'll get his extra $100 million at the end of the year for his popularity incentive. And you wonder why people don't want to watch golf outside of the majors when you've got the live guys coming back. If you didn't have Brooks Koepka, if you didn't have Bryson DeChambeau playing, nobody would give two shits. Really, honestly, nobody would give two shits.
So damn stupid.
So, no debate, right? No
debate at all.
Isn't that dumbass of the week, the month, the year, the century?
That is pathetic. That is a desperate cry for help.
And again, I think it's an overreaction to Bryson DeChambeau winning the U.S. Open. We had a live guy win. Oh, God, what are we going to do? Let's make sure Tiger's in every tournament.
Yeah, so he can embarrass himself time and time again.
Oh, but Dave, he's father of the year.
Bullshit.
How great he is with Charlie.
Whatever.
And then he drops Charlie off when he goes off to the whorehouse. I cannot stress to you people how much it disappoints me. All you fanatics out there who watch him and love him week in and week out and not look at his background and what he's done and how he destroyed families.
There was a time to have cheered him on until it came out what a scumball he is.
I will never understand the people out there who cheer for Tiger Woods.
Who overlook the despicable shit he does.
These are the same people that say O.J. Simpson was innocent. Sorry, I categorize him in the same way. Ugh. Because you're ignorant, you're stupid, you don't look at the facts, you're blind to your heroes' indiscretions. It's pathetic and it's stupid. All right. Check out the weekend edition. More dumbasses. We're going to talk about Monkey Man. We're going to talk about the boys. We're going to talk about Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, their brand new album. Dave's got book reviews. I'll probably yell and scream some more.
Because that's what we do.
All right. We love you. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. If you're not into the weekend edition, we will see you again in 7 days. You will hear us again in 7 days. But until then, say goodnight to the kids, Dave.
Good night to the kids, Dave.